honestly, because I'm afraid I'm going to shit myself while I'm up here. And I figure if I'm sitting down, then you guys won't see it as much. You think I'm kidding? And I was never the same. So shitting yourself stories are the best stories, actually. That's not what I'm going to talk about tonight, but I can go on. Yeah, I already tonight ran into somebody as I was coming down the bathroom steps, and they were going up, and they said to me, "You're Bridget, right?" And I said, "Oh yeah." And they said, "Oh yeah, I know you from Epic Training." "Oh yeah." And he said, "Yeah, I saw you in the training videos, and I hated you from the moment I saw you." So I'm in a room full of friends. Yes, room full of friends. Yeah, here he is. Yeah, friends. It did happen. So many of you guys know Gareth Lockhead, and this is not going to be a sad story. This is a funny story, but I was lucky enough to be his girlfriend for a year and a half here in Korea, and he died on March 3rd in Gyeongju. And talk about, and I was never the same, certainly, and that's the same for so many of you that know him, but I want to tell you about a moment of comedic genius that happened in the week between the Saturday that he fell and the Tuesday that he died and the Sunday that his family left back to New Zealand. So I got the call on I started a new job at Daegu University, and I had orientation on Friday the 28th. It's going to be a good picture. I was all, she's really stoned. So Friday the 28th I had orientation, and Saturday morning I got the call that the call that I got was that he had jumped from a building. That's not the case, but that's the call that I got at the time. So, and I decided not to see him because I didn't want to upset him. I didn't know what state he was in, and then I got a call a couple hours later that he was not going to make it, and would I like to come? Yes, of course. So I got to the hospital that was Saturday, and his parents were coming in from New Zealand with one of his brothers on the following Tuesday. So Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday, I stayed in the hospital. I slept in the hallway outside of his door and saw him when I could, and I waited for his parents to come. Mom and Dad and younger brother came on Tuesday morning, and I met them for the first time. I had seen Mom and Dad on plenty of Skype call, so I felt like I knew them. Brother I was meeting for the first time. And yeah, he was handsome, but not as handsome as Gareth, in my opinion. But the ladies who saw him here thought that he was a looker. He's quite a looker. He was easy on the eyes, his brother. This is not what I was thinking when I met him, but it factors into the story. So that was Tuesday. Tuesday, I was able to go in with his family, and we were able to see him and say goodbye to him, and we all said our goodbyes, and the doctors made it clear that he was not going to recover, and we stood around him and we had things to say to each other and to him, and then I said to the doctors, "Well, when are you going to disconnect the life support? We'd like to be here for this." I am getting to the funny part, by the way. In case you're like, she's really twisted, this isn't funny at all, I know, but it's something you need to know. So there was some kind of talk back and forth between the doctors in Korean, and I didn't understand what they were saying, and they came back and said, "No, we can't do that. It's illegal in Korea to disconnect." So we were shocked, and this meant that he could perhaps be in the state for weeks, right? Days, weeks, months, maybe. And Gareth had some irritations about how things happened in a foreign country. We all get them. He really did, a lot. And I remember I bent down to him and I said, "Babe, like, they're not gonna do this for you. They're not gonna disconnect, and you're gonna have to do this. You're just gonna have to do this on your own, And we all went home that night. It was Tuesday. The university provided an apartment for us to stay, and so we went to bed. It was 9:30, and I was sleeping on the floor. Mom and Dad were in a bedroom. Brother was in another bedroom. And we lay down, go to sleep at 9:30. At 10:30, I get a call from Gareth's boss, who I'd been in contact with this whole time. And he said, Bridget, the hospital called. You need to get the family up and come right away. They didn't say what's going on, but they said it's important. You need to get here. Okay, I'll do it. So I got up and I thought I'll wake up the brother first, right? And then he can wake up his own parents. So I go into the brother's room and I get down on the floor. He's sleeping on the floor. And I put my hand on his shoulder and I said, Scott, wake up. We got a call from the hospital. We have to get there right now. Something's going on. We get a call. And Scott's laying down, totally sleeping, right? He wakes up and he looks at me and he leans on his shoulder like that. He's laying down like this. And he looks totally lucid, right? Like he's completely awake. He doesn't look drunk or anything. His eyes are wide open. And he looks at me, and I don't know if you can see me, but he does this. And I'm like, what the fuck? What? And he goes, oh. And I thought, well, shit, grief does weird things to people, right? Like, what the fuck? And so obviously he wants to tell me something. I don't know why he's looking like his eyes of love are bouncing and hopping and dancing and the fingers going. And I cut a little closer, and this is exactly what he says to me. And I'm just gonna take you on the ride as I was on it, because there is some information that will come later, but I want you to know what I knew at the moment I knew it. And this was that, what the fuck, I'm trying to get the brother up, and he's giving me the come hither finger, and the eyebrows are bobbing up and down. And he looked at me and he said, you dirty, dirty girl. You're just using this as an excuse to have sex with me. Then, yeah, right? The funny part will come. If that wasn't in already. Then he leans forward, like he puts his arm out, and his face is coming in. Like, it's coming in. Like, I know you know what I'm talking about, because you had it happen. Maybe when you're 12 or 13 or 14, it happens for the first time where you're like, what the fuck? Like, the face is getting close, the face is getting close. And then, you know, that means, like, somebody's gonna kiss you, right? And so I moved my head over like this, and I put my hands on his face on either side, and I looked at him and I said, are you drunk? Are you drunk? And I thought to myself, maybe he took a whole bunch of those mini airplane bottles, right, and stashed them. And maybe he's in such grief, and it's the night, and he's going to bed, and he just downed a whole bunch, but he doesn't smell like alcohol. He looks totally normal and alert. He's not all wiggity whack. He's just full of love, you know? And so I just said to him, you need to go back to bed. I'm gonna go wake up your parents. We're going to the hospital. If it's something big, we'll come back and get you. Can you go back to sleep? And he's like, yeah, I can go back to sleep. You know, like, yeah, I can. And I'm like, good, then do it, you know, do it. Go to bed. And so he lays down, and I was like, eh. And I walked out, and I closed the door, and I just went, what the fuck, Gareth? What the fuck? Like, I'm talking to Gareth now. Like, what? What do you want me to do? Like, your brother, what? And so I go into the parents' room, and there they are, sleeping, and I go over to the mom, and I shake her shoulder. Owen, sweetie, you need to get up. Nothing, right? Owen, nothing. I climb over her, I put my mouth by her ear, and I said, Mom. And I'm like, fuck, they're from New Zealand. Mom, get up. Nothing. So I come back out and I call the boss, right, that I've gotten a call from. And I said, I can't, the brother thinks that I'm trying to sleep with him, and he tried to kiss me, and then the parents won't get up, and I don't know what to do. And he said, well, the hospital called back, like, he's dying now. You need to get them up right now. And I just remember saying, please don't make me go back in there. Don't make me go back in there. And he said, you gotta do it. So, okay. So I hung up the phone, and I was just like, I don't know if you've ever had that feeling of, I've just got to do this, like, I've just got to change the dirty diaper, I've just got to reach in the toilet and get my cell phone that I dropped, or I just have to read, whatever it is. That's the feeling I had, like, fuck this shit, I'm going to do it. And so I just went in there, and I just did this. Scott, get up, Scott, get up right now. Like that. Like a crazy person. I'm flinging my arms around, I'm talking, I'm trying to be as non-sexual as possible, lest any of my movements be misinterpreted, you know what I mean? Like, get up now! And so he gets up, and he goes and he wakes his parents up, and we're all getting ready, and I'm so uncomfortable, right? Like, I'm so uncomfortable, and like he's passing by me to get stuff, and I'm passing by him, and I'm just like, oh God, and I just thought to myself, I'm never gonna mention this, never gonna mention it. Like, grief is weird. I know, grief is doing weird things to me, really weird things to me, and grief is making my boyfriend's brother think that I'm using his death as an excuse to have sex with him, so that's what it's doing for him, and so no judgment, you know, like, but I'm not doing that, and so, anyway, I just decided I'm never going to talk about it again, like, in front of a whole crowd, right? And, so we get in the car, I'm driving, and Scott's here, and Mom and Dad are in the back, and we get to the hospital, and we pull up, and we park, and we get out of the car, and his mom gets out of the car, and when she gets out of the car, she kind of goes like, whoa, like this, and kind of holds herself up on the car and said, oh, I feel really drunk. And the dad said, well, that's because you and Scott took those sleeping pills. Ambien, right? Yeah. So, yeah, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Like, it wasn't, he had absolutely no memory of saying that to me, and I told him about 2 days later. We were walking up Garrett's steps to his apartment, and I turned to the brother, we were alone, and I said, listen, I need to tell you about that night. You know, he's like, yeah. And I'm like, do you remember me waking you up? You know? No, like, I remember waking up my mom and dad. I'm like, yeah, before that. I remember you waking me up, and I got up. I'm like, before that. There were 2 wake-ups, the first wake-up, right? And no, he had absolutely no clue. And so I told him, and he was 50% mortified. I mean, come on, like that, you probably said and done things when you were under the influence, right? Like, come on, right? Yeah, you have, right? Everybody has, yeah, but not that. Like, I can pretty much bet nobody in here has been with the girlfriend or boyfriend of their dying sibling and accused them of using that death as an excuse to have sex with them. And like I told you, this guy was attractive, but I did not say to myself, like, ooh, when I saw him on Facebook, like, ooh, you're handsome, Garrett's brother. I think in the future I'm gonna wait for things to get really bad, and then I'm gonna break up with him. I'm gonna ask for some space, and then Garrett's gonna get really upset, and then he's gonna have a really hard time, and then his actions are gonna lead to lots and lots of drinking, and then the drinking's gonna lead to a horrible mistake and an accident, and he's gonna die from that accident. And when that's happening, I'm so gonna have sex with you. Like, that's not the case, right? And so what this has taught me is that in the midst of layers and layers upon grief, right? Folds and just suffocation of the most heavy feeling possible. Here is this gift of hilarity, right? I don't think it's a gift that Gareth would appreciate. If he were here, he'd be pissed. He'd be really pissed at his bro, wouldn't he? He'd be so mad at his brother. But he'd be really proud of me, you know, for telling you about it. And so what I've learned, what I believe, and how my life is never going to be the same again is it's not just the loss of this incredible man that I love more than anything in the world. It's that understanding that in that loss and in that grief and in the shit that we have to do, you know, when this happens, that there will be stories that we can look back on and laugh about later. There will be, you know, and if you don't have one now, it will present itself. But that certainly happened, and I will never be the same.
Yeah.